Welcome, everyone. We'll give just a minute or two for people to join if they're coming from another meeting or end of their school day. Just a bit more time. We'll get started. Excited to have great registration today and looking forward to some exciting updates for you. All right, well, we will go ahead and get started. As educators, I want to be respectful of your time and starting when we say we would start. So we will go ahead and get started and others can join as they're able. So welcome everyone to today's ALP informational webinar for the 2024-2025 academic year. We're excited to have both returning instructors as well as some new programs joining us to learn more about the updates and process for the ALP this year. We'll be covering a lot of material in today's session, so it is being recorded so that you can review at your convenience later or share with your team. The recording and materials referenced within will be sent out in the next few days, so keep an eye out for that. There will be time at the end for Q&A, but you are welcome to add your questions as they come up using the Q&A feature in your Zoom toolbar. Questions in the chat might be missed depending on the volume, so we encourage you to use that Q&A function so that they're all collected for the end of the presentation. So for those who don't know me, my name is Natalie Shryock, and I am the NALS Certifications Manager. And I love working with this program, connecting our schools with the ALP certification and preparing them for that next step of their journey. I am primarily responsible for the vendor registration, working with our teachers to get certified, coordinating ADA accommodations, working with you on rescheduling or makeup exams, and awarding the credential, which is my favorite part of the process. You might also hear from my colleague Jenna, who is on today's meeting as well. She is our membership and education coordinator, and she handles all the details from the start to end that make it possible. So access to your benefits, questions about the application and student data, working with you to get your exam scheduled, quotes, invoices, payments, exam completion confirmation, proctor instructions, all that good stuff. So you might hear from either of us throughout the testing process, and you're welcome to reach out to either of us at any time with those questions, and we will get that sorted between us. So wanted you to have our contact information and put faces with names. And now, Jen, I'll turn it over to Jenna.
Yeah, today me and Natalie will be going over an ALP overview, ALP partner program, the online exam process, some educator resources, ALP exam application process, the scoring results, retake process, and we'll also have some questions and answers at the end, as well as the next steps. So the ALP stands for Accredited Legal Professional. The ALP exam demonstrates a candidate's readiness for employment in the legal industry. To be eligible, students need to have completed at least 80% of their business or legal course, of an accredited program by the exam date. The exam itself is computer-based and consists of multiple choice questions. In order to pass, candidates must score 70% or higher. Once earned, this ALP credential is valid for 5 years.
So, based on your feedback and evolving best practices in assessment, beginning in around January 2025, the ALP will be moving to a new streamlined exam format and away from the current 3-part version. So the goal of this is to not only provide updated content that new employees need to know to keep up with the industry, but also to reduce examinee fatigue on what has been a very long exam, especially for high school students. It will also provide a more balanced representation of questions and generally prepare them better for the law offices, courts, and wherever other opportunities they end up employed. So you can see here some of the differences. The main difference being it's moving from a 3-part exam to a comprehensive streamlined exam. The 70% pass mark will remain, but the new exam will remove the strict passing requirement per topic. So students can earn points where they excel and have a more balanced score of that 70% total. So beginning in January, new examinees will automatically be registered for that new exam. And we'll be sending much more information and reminders as that date approaches. So now we're excited to share the updated content outline for the new and improved ALP exam. These are the 5 main content areas with smaller subsections and skill areas falling underneath. The full exam breakdown is available in the ALP program handbook, which will be shared after this session and is also posted on the NALS website. And we will continue providing updates and tips and all of that as it approaches.
All right, so this is part of our ALP partner program, which is an opportunity that you guys can choose to be a part of. This is some of the benefits that would come with that. As part of the ALP partner program, you'll receive a custom ALP partner logo for your marketing materials, along with program recognition on the NALS website and in our marketing. You'll also have the ability to live proctor student exams following NALS guidelines, which this can save you about $45 per student. Additionally, you'll get expanded in-depth reporting on examinee performance reviewed by the NALS certifying board. This data is still to be determined for the new format. You also will get an affiliate NALS membership for instructors or the main contact. And you'll get 5 vouchers for the ALP mock exam access and expanded user access. And then new this year, we have added 2 features, which will be a lapse-in membership for the partner school and an updated flashcard template for ALP legal terminology. So some of the benefits, just giving a bigger deep dive into that affiliate membership that you'd get, is that you'd be able to expand your network with a nationwide network of legal professionals. You'll receive member pricing for continued legal education, webinars, and events. You have access to discounts through our affinity programs and member-only newsletters with industry updates, emerging trends, and information to support the next generation of legal support professionals. And there's so much more on our website that you'd also have benefits to.
So now we're going to take a look at the online exam process. As Jenna mentioned, the ALP is a computerized browser-based exam. and NALS offers 2 different types of proctoring depending on your program needs. Please note that live proctoring is exclusively available to our ALP partners. So the online proctoring puts more control on the examinees. So they are responsible for scheduling their own appointment within the exam window. They need a webcam and microphone since their session will be recorded and monitored through their webcam by an examinee proctor. That session is then sent to NALS, scores are processed, and would be returned to the instructor within 30 days. The live proctoring, as I mentioned, for our partners, puts more flexibility into the exam process and also has that cost savings that Jenna mentioned. So under this model, the schools are responsible for arranging and proctoring student exams, including providing that exam environment and finding a proctor. The exam is administered through that internet browser platform. There's no need for webcams or microphones since the school proctor will be supervising the exam session. That proctor is responsible for monitoring the exam room and providing a completion report to NALS once all examinees have tested. And with the live proctoring, preliminary results are provided back to the instructor within 2 weeks, and final results are provided back within 30 days. Next, we're going to take a look at the educator resources that are available as you're preparing students for the exam. So we've created an educators hub on our webpage, which is under the certification tab, and then educators guide to the ALP. This page will continually be updated throughout the school year, so be sure to check there for updates, links to resources, and forms, all the things you will need to successfully not only prepare, but apply for the ALP. So the main resource there is the 2025 ALP Program Handbook. This collects all of the information, policies, processes in one place, as well as exam content outline that we shared in a previous slide. So we highly recommend that you take some time, download this, click through it, review it, save it with your ALP materials so that you can check back as you're getting closer to your exam date. It answers a lot of frequently asked questions and is searchable as a PDF, so you can type your keyword and find answers at your fingertips. The resources for student preparation include the NALS Basic Manual and the accompanying student and instructor versions as well. New this year, we will be making the Basic Manual, Instructor Manual, and Student Study Guide available through NALS. So now you can do all of your ordering in one place. And we will also be offering PDF or digital versions of these resources as well at a lower rate. The other official resource is the Gregg Reference Manual, which provides the style format that is most common in the legal field. And there's a link to that as well. The flashcard template that Jenna mentioned, the ALP mock exam, which we'll be touching on, and our Exam Cram webinar series. So all of that, links to that and information on the Educator's Guide to the ALP webpage found on nals.org. So the biggest and, in my opinion, most exciting resource that's new this year are the NALS ALP lesson plans. So to support the next generation of legal support professionals, thanks to generous support from Georgia State Bar's IOLTA grant program, we have now made over 360 hours of lesson plans, assignments, small group activities available to you at no cost. So these are free, open right now. You can go to that link and access all of these. They are divided into 4 courses. So the first 3 are recommended before high school students sit for the ALP. And there's an optional advanced course of criminal and constitutional law of another 120 hours of lesson plans, based just depending on your program structure, how much classroom time you have, etc. So definitely spend some time on this site, review each course's objectives. I'd encourage you to compare them to your own program's objectives or standards to identify any discrepancies or gaps between the two. These lesson plans can be used out of the box as is, or you can pick and choose assignments, topics, activities to supplement existing lesson plans or gaps in your current materials. We're also pleased to share that the NALS ALP exam has been recognized by LAPSN, the Law and Public Safety Education Network, which is a nonprofit organization that bridges the gap between CTE education and industry like NALS. The ALP has been recognized as their industry recognized credential, or IRC, for the legal services CTE pathway. This means that the ALP has met LAPSN's own stringent evaluation requirements, which include those outlined in 20 U.S. Code 2302, as well as compliant with Perkins legislative requirements. So I would encourage you to check funding options that are available in your states, especially now that the ALP has been designated as a course end or program end IRC. We'll now dive into the mock exams. So the ALP mock exam is a practice exam that's designed to familiarize students with the way that the items are written, as well as the content that they can expect to be assessed on when before taking the real ALP exam. So once they have completed their exam, the students will receive feedback on their performance, as well as links back to the study references so that they each have a customized plan of which areas they might need to focus on a little more in order to be ready for the ALP certification exam. The mock exams are hosted in Prolidian, which is our ALP testing platform. So students can become comfortable navigating the site without the added pressure of time and certification. The mock exams are currently offered for sale in bundles based on the number of vouchers that you need. So each voucher allows 6 attempts on the ALP exam during the partner year. So the idea is 1 voucher per student who will be sitting for that exam. 5 vouchers are included with your ALP partnership fee, and the pricing for additional vouchers is on the screen. And additional access information in the order form will be coming. We are working as quickly as we can with our volunteers and subject matter experts to update the ALP mock exam to follow the new format, so that ordering instructions will be to come, but the current mock exam still covers a lot of those same content areas. It's just not formatted the way that the 2025 ALP will be.
So now we're going to take a little deep dive into the application process and what we would be needing from you guys. So to get started, you would download and prepare a student roster in an Excel format. Be sure to identify any ADA accommodations that will be needed and gather the necessary documentation for those ADA accommodations. For each student, we require their first name, last name, and a unique email address. A school email address is acceptable, but it does need, everyone has to have a different email. However, if your school prohibits sharing a student's email address, please contact us to discuss before submitting your application. We've worked with this before, so we are flexible and able to work something out with you. You may use your school's mailing address if preferred on the application. This will determine where the certification is being sent if they were to pass the exam. Please note that all students are considered first-time examinees taking the full exam unless the retake fields are marked. Starting January 2025, both first-time examinees and full exam retakes will automatically be registered for the new format. After you have all of this, you will submit your online application. The application deadline is the 15th of the month prior to the exam month, pending payment. You'll need to select a proctoring method, either live or online/remote, which costs $45 per student. If you're using both methods, be sure to submit separate applications and rosters. Provide your billing contact information. Note that payment is not due at the time of the application. Our staff will send you an invoice based on selections and the number of candidates. However, payment or purchase order will be required before exam access is granted, and we accept credit card checks or ACH. When submitting, attach the student roster and any ADA accommodations that are needed. Now staff will follow up and clarify and confirm any accommodations. We'll also need to choose an exam date, and staff will confirm the exact dates via email. This year, it's new. We're allowing you guys to submit and list your preferred exam date on the application. And that is just preferred date, though. We will have to get back to you on if that's the date that you'll be testing. So a little bit, rather submit earlier than later on the application. Instructors will select their own exam windows, and we recommend planning a makeup date in case absence or unforeseen issues, such as power outage. Then step 3, proctors will receive exam instructions via email 3 business days prior to the exam. It's important that the proctor confirms receipt of these materials and asks any questions in advance. And please note, for the proctoring methods, the live proctoring is only for the ALP partners. And then where you're able to find these resources that I was mentioning, you will be able to find the online application by going to NALS.org website. Next, you will click on the certification tab, hover over to the educator's guide to the ALP. From there, you'll click ALP Schools Examination Application. There's also a direct link on the screen if you prefer to use that. Once you've done this, you'll see a page that looks like the one shown on the right. Simply fill in the required information as outlined in the previous slides. And just a tip, you can download the student roster in advance directly from the application page. This can help you get a head start on gathering the necessary information. And now just a little overview of where you'd be able to find this checklist that I was talking about earlier is that you'd be able to find the suggested timeline for each step of the process, either in the ALP handbook or on the website. This timeline is a useful reference throughout the year to help you stay on track for your exam schedule. Be sure to share this timeline with your staff or whoever is going to be involved in the ALP exam process to keep everyone informed and coordinated in the process. Switch it over back to Natalie.
Right, so we're now going to review the scoring and results process for live proctored exams. So once a live proctored exam has been concluded, the proctor must confirm to NALS via email that the exams are completed and confirm that it was a clean exam, meaning no exam violations, which are outlined in the ALP handbook, or to report violations, which may result in score invalidation. Candidates must achieve a minimum of 70% to pass. Preliminary scores are provided to the instructor within 14 days after the last exam of the group, and those finalized scores will be provided to the instructor 30 days after the last exam. Individual results are not distributed to the students directly unless you make that request. So it is then the instructor's responsibility to share out those results, including pass-fail, to the students so that they're aware of their result. This might be through your online gradebook, through email, however you distribute results. But just note that they are not automatically distributed to students unless you make that request. Examinees that pass the exam will be certified with NALS as an accredited legal professional, which is valid for 5 years. They will receive a printed mailed certificate. So as Jenna mentioned, if you put the school address, those certificates will be sent to the school for distribution. And they will also be listed on our certified professionals website directory. This enables future employers to verify that they have earned that credential and also lists their expiration date, which can be helpful for students approaching their first recertification. Certified ALPs will receive one welcome email from NALS congratulating them on achieving their designation and providing some information on the recertification process, how to use their credential, and a custom ALP logo that they can use on their email signature, LinkedIn, resume, etc. Now to Jenna for the
All
retake.
right, going over the retake process, please note that we are going to be touching on both ends of this exam from what we are doing now and what change will happen. So the application for this is, as well as the full exams, would be on the 15th of the month prior to the exam window. Retake fees are based on the number of parts and the proctoring method you choose. If the school is covering the cost of retakes, follow the usual application process and indicate on the student roster which parts they need to retake. You can see that on the screen highlighted in yellow and outlined in red as well. If students are paying for their own retakes, please contact NALS with further instructions so that we can help them have a smooth transition between the two different types of applications. Starting in January of 2025, all new examinees and full exam retakes, so if they're taking all 3 parts, they will be automatically registered for the new exam format. But beware that changes may be coming with the other parts of the retakes, part of the retake application process. So please keep an eye out on your email so that we will get all of that communication out to you as soon as we have it for you. Combination exams, so say someone is taking retake part 1 and retake part 3, are available through June 1st of 2025. NALS has no limit on the numbers of retakes or mandatory waiting period. However, if a student violates our exam rules, they must wait 6 months before retaking the exam.
Great. So now we're going to take some time to discuss frequently asked questions. The first is, are teachers or instructors, able to take the ALP exam? The answer is yes, and in fact, we encourage it. We recommend that teachers utilize the same proctoring method that they plan to use for their students so that they have a better understanding of that process. We can work with you to get a quote and line up a date and all of that, similar to how we would for a student process. Say you have a question about your quote or invoice, who do you contact? That would be Jenna. Please reach out using the emails at the beginning of the session slides, and Jenna will be able to connect with either your school office or work with you to facilitate quote invoice payment. Can teachers or instructors proctor exams for their own students? NALS permits this, but we always encourage you to check with your own school and district policy. Some allow this and some do not. So we accept that, but just make sure that that is not in conflict with your school or district policy. Is the ALP partnership required to access the lapse and lesson plans? No, it is not. Thanks to that support from the Georgia State Bar, the lesson plans and resources through Lapson are available to everyone at no charge. How far in advance should you submit your exam application? Again, this greatly depends on the payment method and process of your program or district. So we encourage you to find out what is involved in that process, your purchasing process, before building your timeline. The checklist that Jenna reviewed in the ALP Partner Handbook is a great resource to help you plot that out and determine when you need to begin the process. We always say the sooner the better, because unexpected delays happen, especially if you wait until near spring break or closer to the end of the school year. We find that the administrative offices are often overwhelmed processing everything before the end of the school year. So avoid the backlog. Don't add additional stress to your already busy schedules. Get that process started early. Secure your exam date, and there's always, room for flexibility if changes arise. But the sooner the better, so that it's another thing off your to-do list and your students can be confident in the exam date that you've set. What are the proctor responsibilities? The proctor responsibilities for the ALP, I think, are fairly common of what you would expect for a standardized exam. So they are all listed in the ALP program handbook. You will need, basically, that person needs to check in the students through their school ID if they're not, one of their regular teachers who would know which students are which. They're responsible for securing the exam environment, so phones away, books away, snacks, bottled water, all of that away, making sure students have a reasonable space between them. They're not looking over somebody's shoulder, seeing what they're answering, just maintaining a quiet and orderly exam session, and then confirming that that exam is completed back to NALS. That's really important both for the integrity of the exam and also so that we know to begin the scoring process. If we don't hear from your proctor, we might think that you need an extension or you're waiting on a student who is absent to complete their session. So it's really important for us to receive that confirmation to initiate scoring so that we can get those prelim results to you in a timely manner. What happens if a student misses their exam? So again, back to that confirmation, just let us know. With the live proctoring especially, there's a lot of flexibility. So we encourage you to have that makeup date and time built into your testing schedule because things happen, right? Power outages, illness, absence, car trouble, everything under the sun. So build that in so that, again, you're not crunched for time trying to find the resources in the lab again. You'll have that built in. And if you need time beyond that, just let us know. We'll work with you to arrange that and make sure that your registered students can complete their exams. So here is our contact information again, and I'd encourage you to drop your questions in that Q&A feature. I know there have been a couple that we have answered throughout the session. If you think of questions later, you're always welcome to email us. We will be sending this recording as well as the resources mentioned within it out to you all and providing many more updates throughout the fall on the exam process and resources that will be to come. So feel free to add your questions now if you have them. I think I actually did skip a slide. So I'd like to go back a moment. Let me find that here. Right. I guess I must have been imagining it.
And say, I know that we did have a slide, I think it was over, that was flipped over, of the ALP partner cost is $350. I don't think we mentioned that to you guys. It will be a partnership through the school year, so from August 1st until July 31st. I don't think we touched on that. So those are open and available for some of the people that are returning. We've already kind of got in contact with most of you guys about that, but if you haven't received it, please let us know and we can get that over to you as well. My email is right there if you need any help with signing up to be an ALP partner. And then it also looks like there is a few questions in the chat, Natalie, if you want to answer them. Or in the frequently asked questions.
Yes, so the full exam fee for partner students is $90. So first time student exam fee for partner schools that are live proctoring is $90. That has not changed from the past year. Right. Yes, questions about the content changes in content for the new exam. I would say overall, not a drastic change because a lot of the fundamental skills are still necessary to succeed in the workforce, such as communications, general office etiquette and professionalism, of course, ethics and ethical behavior within the law office and legal system. I will be sending out the 2025 ALP exam content outline. And as you could see on the slide that we discussed today, the percentage breakdown. So you can kind of direct the amount of time that is spent on each topic based on the percentage. So you can be teaching to that new outline. Question about taking the practice exam in the old format versus the new if they're testing in March or April of next year. It's probably ideal for them to take the newer version, but the old format, again, because many of the fundamentals such as terminology, communications, ethics, the structure of the courts, the structure of government, obviously those things have not changed drastically. So it still could be a useful assessment for them, but as far as a practice exam that's going to have more specific feedback than if you're only giving that mock exam once, I would probably wait until the new version was released. And then you'd still have some months to cover their review areas. Yes, we request to pop up the new percentage. So again, the ALP handbook will have kind of which content areas are included in each of these. These are the main groupings, but there are specific subject areas underneath each of these. And we are working to create a comparison guide so that you can kind of identify, okay, these sections on the manual relate to these content areas on the new exam. Same thing with some of our other resources, and obviously this will be the format of the new mock exam, but many of the content areas are the same. It's just reorganized, kind of streamlined, and is a more efficient version of the exam. As of today, I do not have an estimated date of availability for the new mock exam, but you all will be the first to know. We are eager and excited to get these new resources in your hands. So we will be blasting all the news and all the notices to you. So make sure that my email, Jenna's email, and the cert-edu email at nals.org are in your safe sender list or whitelisted. With all of the scammy cyber attacks going on, we have noticed that it's more difficult for us to send you links, send you resources. So we want to make sure our messages are getting through. And you can always check that educator's webpage as well for any updates you might have missed. Right, I believe I have addressed all of the open questions. So again, we thank you so much for your time today. We know it's difficult to make time on a weekday this early in the semester, so we appreciate your time. We are excited to begin another partnership year with you, and we are available for questions and look forward to another great year. If there's nothing else, then we will thank you all and be in touch soon with these resources. Thank you, everyone.